first half with 388 yards of combined total offense and 35 points. Pretty much what we expected to see here so far in this first half. I'm not sure, Justin, we got to where we thought we would be. But been a very exciting first half so far.
Yeah, very exciting. You thought we were going to see a lot of passing yards going up, this and that. For Kenton, really two big plays.
Yep.
That's all their passing yards. And that's their 14 points, and Norwayne did what we kind of thought they would. They had a balanced attack and done a really good job against that Kenton defense, just moving the ball, eating up some clock. And I'll tell you, at halftime, Norwayne coaching staff has got to be just telling these guys, listen, silly plays is the reason this game is a one-score ball game right now.
21-14, Norwayne leading Kenton here at halftime. And our halftime visit here, Randy Reinhardt will once again visit with the commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, as Dr. Dan Ross. And it's coming up right now here on the OHSAA Radio Network.
We are joined now by the Commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, Dr. Dan Ross. And Dr. Ross, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
I want to ask you a number of questions here in this segment. We're back here in the Kenton, Massillon area for the football championships for the 22nd straight year. This is always a very memorable weekend. That will continue, I know, for a couple of years before the final shift to Ohio Stadium in Columbus in 14 and 15. Can you describe the process and also why the Board of Directors made it clear they want Stark County to remain a big part of the next contract?
We're in this year, the last year of the options for the past contract. Next year, we will start the first 2 years of the new contract, which both of those 2 years, Kenton, Stark County had requested those 2 years so that they could tie in with the option years that they've currently experienced. And so the board made that process possible. They gave the first 2 years of the new contract to Stark County so that they'll have that opportunity to have a continuity there. It will go to Columbus in 14 and 15. It is the intent that as the contract, then when you look beyond that point in time, for there to be a partnership between Stark County and Columbus, that the games would rotate. This was never designed to be a situation where it went to Columbus and it never came back, or the first 2 years or at Stark County and it doesn't leave. But I think it's the intent to provide more opportunities for youngsters to participate. They'll have the opportunity to participate in 3 of the finest venues in the United States, and so it gives not only the youngsters, but it gives the communities. There's people in some communities that have never been inside Ohio Stadium or been inside Paul Brown or Fawcett here unless they would come with one of the schools. And so we want to provide them the opportunity to have that experience, so that partnership will just continue to get stronger.
Dr. Ross, you have done it all. You have been a teacher, a coach, an official. I even saw you officiate, and you were an outstanding basketball official, I know. A principal, a school superintendent, and now with the OHSAA. The OHSAA serves all these groups, too. What are a few of the things that some people might not know about the OHSAA that makes it really a unique organization and a service-oriented organization as well?
Well, I guess one of the things that a lot of people do not know is that we don't charge dues. There's no membership fees to belong. This is a voluntary organization. So I know many people feel like, well, you're paying to do this. No, you're not. So that is one of the service pieces that we certainly try to do. We provide the catastrophic insurance for all the student athletes and that participate in any of our recognized sport in Ohio, which is about a $700,000 bill that our schools do not have to, so they can spend their dollars providing the opportunities for their youngsters to be able to participate. I think some of the other things that we're trying to do is we're trying to work with our member schools on their service activities. We're trying to work with our treasurers on making sure that all of the audit requirements for how tournament monies are handled, how their monies are handled, are not going to put them afoul of any violations with auditing procedures. We're working to try through the foundation games, the Service Week games, to provide service opportunities for kids, which are great opportunities for them to pull activities and help those activities, which are great resume builders for going on to college. So we're trying to become more of a service organization other than just the service of providing the tournaments that our school districts then don't have to manage and undertake that responsibility.
And, I think this has got to be a difficult position to be in, because so many times in the past people saw the OHSAA is the Supreme Court, and you as the Chief Justice. You've been extremely media-friendly, I have to say, in the time that I've worked with you. And how difficult is it to overcome that image, to let people know exactly what you do here, and you're not just a judge and a jury. You don't sit here in robes and just say, you're eligible, you're not, you have to forfeit this game. That's got to be difficult.
Well, it's extremely difficult because you're dealing with somebody's child. And you understand when you're dealing with their child, and this is one of the benefits of having been in every one of those positions that I've had the opportunity to serve, that you do understand that piece, and it's very, very difficult when you're dealing with someone's child for there to be an objectivity. Many of the rules and regulations that our principals vote on, which then it's our job to provide the enforcement for, are provided to try to help make as level a playing field as there is possible. That you don't have youngsters just willy-nilly switching schools and transferring because they don't like this coach or they played together all summer and now they want to create an all-star team to play during the season. That's not what high school sports are all about. High school sports are about kids learning wonderful life lessons so they can come back to their community being great citizens. And that's the kind of thing that when you ask about the service piece, we can probably be the greatest service in helping them in their job of educating youngsters to help learn the life lesson piece so that they can be great citizens when they come back to their communities.
I think it's apropos that he's been a teacher, a coach, an official, a principal, and a school administrator and superintendent, because right now, folks, he combines all those jobs as the commissioner of the OHSAA. Dr. Ross, thank you so much for your time.
And thank you so much for your advocacy for young people in high school sports in the state of Ohio.
And let's pause now for these messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
This is Joe Thomas from the Cleveland Browns.
This is Chinadum Ndukwe from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Take it from me.
Take it from me.
Nutrient-rich chocolate milk is an ideal beverage to drink after sporting events and practices.
Being active and eating healthy are keys to living well.
Chocolate milk tastes great.
Refuel with chocolate milk. It's a great way to fuel up.
Eat healthy, get active, make a difference.
I'm Professor Burke from the University of Farmers, where agents' intellects are focused like laser beams, and this is a pop quiz. True or false? There is no reward for turning 50. The big 5-0. False. By sitting down with a farmer's agent, you can get access to the Farmer's 50-plus discount and many others that could save you hundreds on your home insurance. But other than that, it's mostly just slippers and bingo.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Call a farmer's agent to discuss tailoring a policy for your home. Find your local agent at farmers.com.
You're listening to the State Football Championships on the Ohio High School Athletic Association Radio Network.
Halftime score in the Division IV state championship game. It is Norwayne 21 and Kenton 14. Todd Bell, Justin Zwick here with you at halftime as the Kenton Marching Band has concluded their proceedings here today. And we'll wait the marching band from Norwayne to come out onto the field. What a crazy ending to our first half. You get a Norwayne score, and it puts them up 21-6. And we're talking about how they're going to get the football to start the second half. And then all of a sudden you get a Hail Mary completion for a touchdown on the last play. Marathon fueling the American spirit. Our marathon drive of the game, we kind of hemmed and hawed and talked about it because we've had 35 points and already 5 touchdowns in this game. It's kind of hard to pick one, but you said as important as any was that very last one, the Hail Mary at the end of the first half.
It wasn't really much of a drive. I think, 3 plays they put into it. But, for Kenton, who really hasn't got much going on their offensive side of things, they had one big play early in the game. To get that score right before half, that's kind of just one of those lucky things that happen. Didn't do a whole lot for it, except he made a couple runs and then threw one deep and they pick one up. That's a cheap score right before half, but that's going to be huge for them. One, they go into half, get a little excitement going. They got feeling maybe a little momentum, like, hey, we're back in this right now. And 2, it's points. You got to score points because Norwayne looks like they're going to keep doing what they were doing in that first half, and they put 21 points on the board, which, they got some things rolling. They're running the ball pretty well when they have to, and Adam Wallace has just done a great job of finding open receivers and getting them the ball, and they've done a good job as well of coming back and making some big plays for him.
The scoring summary in the first half, Norwayne on their opening possession after getting the ball after Kenton turned it over on downs. Wallace a 5-yard touchdown run on a 9-play, 59-yard drive in 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go up 7-0. Then at 1:22 to go after an interception, a 23-yard pass from Adam Wallace, a 3-play, 38-yard drive to make it 14-0. Kenton then got on the scoreboard. Bryce Fackler, a 65-yard touchdown pass from Matty Mock. 2-point conversion run failed. 2 plays, 65 yards in just 13 seconds to make it 14-6. Norwayne then scored with 24 seconds to go in the first half. John Maybach, a 19-yard touchdown reception from Adam Wallace. 10 plays, 72 yards in 3:35 to make it 21-6. And then again right there at the end, Kieran Fetter catching a 50-yard touchdown pass on a deflection in the end zone. Mock's 2-point conversion run, 3 plays, 64 yards in 21 seconds, and that makes it 21-14. And the 2 touchdown drives by Kenton are a combined 5 plays, 129 yards in 34 seconds.
Well, we knew they could score fast. I mean, that just shows you how explosive they can be. But yeah, I mean, the one was 2 plays. They run the wide receiver screen, come right back with a fake screen, and find a guy deep down the sideline, and then 3 plays on the last one. I mean, but hey, they're only down a field goal, so what's it really matter? You throw all that first half out the window now and come out for the second of the state championship game.
We will pause now for messages from our local stations. Our halftime score, it is Norwayne 21 and Kenton 14 here on the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
Ohio students help create the association's program on sporting behavior.
Through the Respect the Game campaign, we are encouraging student athletes, parents, fans, coaches, and officials to do 3 important things.
Speak with courtesy, act with dignity, and play or observe with pride.
Bill Hoskett, Ohio State basketball All-American, NBA champion, and Olympic gold medalist on student athletes.
Studies show that students who play school sports tend to have better attendance records, higher grade point averages, fewer discipline problems, and are more likely to pursue a college education. High school sports also teach leadership, character, and provide the foundation for becoming a good citizen. Let's respect the game and remember to always keep student first in student athlete.
A message from the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Norwayne on top, 21-14 over Kenton here at halftime. Todd Bell, Justin Zwick with you. A full weekend of high school football. We've already crowned 4 champions. Still a half of football to go here in the D4 title game. And then later tonight in the Division I state championship game, it'll be Pickerington Central taking on Cleveland St. Ignatius. And what should just be a heck of a dogfight between those 2 teams. Pickerington Central, a team that lost its first 2 games of the season to Cincinnati Moeller and Cincinnati St. Xavier. They bounced back. They have won 11 in a row now. And they defeated a couple of local teams in the Central Ohio area, Kaufman and Gahanna, and beat the #1 seed and #1 team in the state, Hilliard-Davidson, 24-0. That's when everybody's eyebrows finally came up. And then last week, shutting down St. X, holding them to only 7 points. They scored on their first possession of the game, and that was it. And Pick Central went on to win by the score of 14-7. They've got a couple of talented running backs in Devon Pennick and Billy Eakins. Their quarterback is going to Kent State on a baseball scholarship. And then they've got a player by the name of Roger Lewis who's going to Ohio State, who's got 4 kick returns on the season. He was a little banged up in their semifinal win. They're hoping he'll be ready to go for tonight's game against St. Ignatius. But both of us living in the Columbus area, I've had a chance to see Pick Central a couple times this year. It's them and Hilliard-Davidson that have been reigning Division I in Central Ohio the last 4 years.
Yeah, that it has. And, just reading off that they lose their first 2 games, but I love the fact that they're going out and playing those teams.
Yeah.
That is big to start the season off. You're going down to the Cincinnati schools and playing them. Those are 2 great programs that they start the season off with. Kind of shows them, where they're at, where they need to be. And then they had, I think you said, a bye week in between there somewhere, and then they reel off 11 straight. That just shows you how impressive, they are to win 11 in a row after losing their first 2, just getting things back together. And only giving St. X 7 points last week. I have a feeling Ignatius might have a hard time scoring tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the Wildcats, people have said this is not the best St. Ignatius team. Yeah. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 23 years last year. And how do they follow that up? They get to the state championship game. Yeah. They beat last year's champs, St. Ed's, 20-17. They beat the team that everybody thought was going to win that region, Mentor, 23-17 in that game. And then Toledo Whitmer was an offense that was unbelievable. They've got Division I scholarship guys going all over the country on their offense and defense, and they shut them down to 6 points last week, which I'm still scratching my head because I saw Whitmer with my own 2 eyes this year, and I thought for sure they were going to get to state. But St. Ignatius, Chuck Kyle, they just do it year in and year out. You got a chance to experience it on the field and know how tough it is to beat a Chuck Kyle football team.
You just never count them out. They just have such a great program. It's almost just like they just put people in positions and they know exactly what to do. They don't make mistakes, and they run their offense and defense to a T every game. And it's no surprise to see them back in the state championship game. If they have a down year, they learn from that and they see what they need to do better, and they put it together for this year. And man, I'll tell you, it's gonna be a heck of a game tonight. It's gonna be a good one to watch.
I really think it'll be a good one. It'll be a big crowd tonight and great weather for the D1 state championship game tonight over Fawcett Stadium. You can hear it right here on the OHSAA radio network. You can join Randy Reinhardt and AJ Trapasso. They'll be bringing you all of the action. They will be on the air at 6:45 with the pregame there. Yesterday we had 3 champions crowned. The first game we had here, Kirtland and Coldwater, and Justin, we saw a great running attack. Christian Hauber, Damon Washington. Hauber went for 196, Washington 147. Only 5 passes thrown. 1 was by their kicker on a botched field goal attempt, so only 4 within their offense. And they did a great job of slowing down Coldwater's offense and kept them out of the end zone and won 28-7 yesterday morning. Great way to start for Kirtland getting their first title.
Yeah, when you have 2 running backs going over 300 yards in a football game, there's no reason to throw the ball more than 5 times. And I think one of those was a kicker throwing it on an extra point. So really 4 times their offense threw the ball, but no need to when you're running the ball that well. Christian Hauber just had a great game yesterday. Battled through an ankle injury, and Kirtland gets a big win yesterday to start things off.
Cardinal Mooney, they won their 8th state championship. They scored 21 points in the second quarter to go up 21-0, and then had to hold on as the Braves of Shawnee came back, had a drive into the red zone right at the very end of the game, but ended up turning it over on downs right at the very end. And you can everything you just said about Ignatius, you can just say about Cardinal Mooney, right?
I was just going to say that. That's a team that you never count out either. They, year in and year out, just have players who go to Division I. It's almost crazy to see how many guys they put into college ball, but they got a great coaching staff, great program there, and, they go ahead and get, was it their 8th, I think, yesterday? Yep. Their 8th state championship, and, they're on a roll, and that's not surprising.
Last night, the Division II state championship game, we were treated to quite a performance by Israel Green. He had a state record performance in Division II, 6 touchdowns, over 300 yards rushing in the game, and we were just scratching our head as Trotwood wins their first state championship.
I can still picture his 1 touchdown run, 70-some yards I think it was. Looked like he was going to be tackled 4 or 5 times, spun out of a few tackles, almost ran out of bounds, came back in. He did it all in that one play, and he did it 6 times. That's the kind of game he had, and he really put that team on his shoulders last night.
And just trying to quickly pull up the numbers in that one yesterday. He had 326. Remember, he's just a junior running back, too. So he had 6 rushing touchdowns. That's most in a game, all divisions. Most points in a game, he scored 36 points. And most yard rushing in Division II at 326. And he was his second most ever in a state championship game. 393 by Tony Franklin back in 2001. Of Bedford Chanel was the overall #1 rushing game in a state championship. But at 320, that's a lot of.
I mean, he basically just went ahead and took an eraser to the record books and said, I'm going to put my name down about 4 or 5 of these slots right here. They're probably going to be there for a long time as well. But he just had an outstanding performance last night, and I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you that it wouldn't be possible without his great offensive line and in front of him opening holes up.
Marion Local this morning in Division 6 won their 5th state championship as they defeated Buckeye Central 61-21. And a lot like last year, Delphos St. John's working on Shady Side, get another Midwest athletic team. Marion Local comes in. They just blow out Buckeye Central, not even close in that game. It was 34-0 at the break, and they just rolled right along. Adam Bertkey, their quarterback, threw for 278 and 4 touchdowns in the game. Lee Piron had 3 of those touchdown receptions and 140 yards receiving. And Coldwater couldn't get it done yesterday morning, but they made sure the MAC ended up with a state championship yet again this year.
Yeah, those kids just looked like they were having a great time out there in the field. You know, when things are going well, it's easy to do, I guess. But putting up a lot of points in a state championship game, and that's very impressive.
All right, so that's the recap of all of the weekend's activities. And again, the D1 title game coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll take one final timeout. More stats, second half kickoff coming up right after this here on the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
Proud to stand on our own, proud to be homegrown, a familiar face and a name you know. Come on, we know you, we know your needs, we know what being a neighbor means. Can you hear it? Fueling the American spirit. No matter when, no matter where, Marathon will take you there.
Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
College football's only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, Ohio State's Archie Griffin, on the value of high school sports.
I was determined to succeed on the football field, but it's the life lessons that athletics taught me that will last forever. That began in high school when I learned the importance of discipline, teamwork, sacrifice, and responsibility. Those values stay with student athletes long after their playing days are over. Remember, the Ohio High School Athletic Association and Interscholastic Athletics seek to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life. At that, we can all be winners.
A message from the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
You're listening to the State Football Championships on the Ohio High School Athletic Association Radio Network.
This broadcast is a presentation of the Ohio High School Athletic Association Radio Network. Any commercial use, retransmission, or distribution without the express written consent of the OHSAA is strictly prohibited. The announcers on this game selected by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. For more information, log on to the OHSAA Radio Network section at www.ohsaa.org. Was that, if the kid can't handle the toys, take the toys away? Is that what just happened to me?
Is that what that was right there? Instead of a timeout in the corner, just take it away. Jeez.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
That's a good parenting tool for me to keep in the back of my head for one day.
Yep. If they can't handle the toy, just take it away. 21-14 in favor of Norwayne over Kenton here, Division 4 at halftime. And let's give you the numbers in the first half. First off, for the Norwayne Bobcats, 217 yards of total offense, 102 rushing, 115 through the air. Wallace, 8 of 12 passing for 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Maybach's got 3 catches for 59 and a score. Richie Smith, 2 for 43 and a touchdown. You've got Berger and Zimmerly each with catches as well. Now running, Wallace, the quarterback, 15 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown in the first half. And then John and Ty Zimmerly, they've combined for 40 yards rushing on the other 10 carries. So a very balanced attack, but a lot of Adam Wallace in that first half, both passing and running. On the other side for Kenton, 171 yards of total offense, 42 on the ground, 129 through the air. Matty Mock, 9 of 17 passing with 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns for that 129. And Kieran Fetter, 3 catches for 59. He had a 50-yard touchdown. Sawmiller, 2 catches for 9. Wolowitz, 2 catches for -2. Then Matt Barr, a catch for -2. And Bryce Fackler, a catch for 65 and a touchdown. So the rushing, 13 carries by the quarterback Mock for 42 yards. And no scores. He had a long of 20. So you've got 2 quarterbacks. One's rushed 15 times. One's rushed 13 times. And then passing-wise, 129 to 115. So the 2 quarterbacks battling head-to-head are pretty even. And the score on the scoreboard relatively even at 21 to 14. Penalties, only 1 aside. But the one against Kenton, a 15-yard interference penalty, that cost them points because they would have had the football if there had not been the interference penalty. And Norwayne ended up scoring on that drive.
Yeah, and for the most part, it was a pretty clean first half as far as penalties go. And, that one stands out because it was a long 3rd and long. They go for the fade and get the penalty called for a fresh set of downs and end up throwing a fade to the end zone to put the ball in for another score. But, we'll see what happens here, see how these teams come out, see what kind of tweaks they made at halftime as far as game plans go. And it'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
A couple of the miscellaneous numbers. 3rd down conversions. Kenton, 1 of 6. Norwayne, 4 of 7. How about this, though? Kenton then 3 of 4 on 4th down. Norwayne 1 for 1 on 4th down.
Yeah.
We're 4 for 5 on 4th downs in this game.
And we have 1 punt.
And we have...
Is there 1 punt, I think? I know Kenton punted once.
1 punt. That is right.
And who would have thought that Kenton would have been the one team to punt?
That's right.
But Norwayne's defense doing a great job. I mean, that situation they had to punt, being down in their own.
They're on the 10-yard line.
On the 10-yard line, and things weren't going well. You just didn't want to compound that problem.
Remember what I talked about in the early going? We thought, again, it would be high scoring and probably back and forth, but you didn't want to get down 2 scores in the game, and that's what ended up happening to Kenton, getting down 21-6. They get a score to make it 21-14. The next touchdown in this game could be very, very big.
Could be very big, and Norwayne getting that ball at the start of this half. It's going to be very important for them to go down and get some points here. I mean, I know that's silly to say because it's always important to get points, but after that Hail Mary at the end of the half, I mean, they should, in all reality, be out here getting the ball 21-6, feeling pretty good about things, but they let that one slip by. So, to make up for that, this offense needs to go down and put one in the end zone.